So, sad day today, this Model A is going. Now, the reason being is because I was working on it the other day after doing the arches and kind of just hit another bodge that was on it, and it's like there's one bodge too many. It threw me the other day, so I chucked it online. Is anyone interested in the body, paperwork as it is? Guys came straight over, seen it, had a look around all the new metalwork and stuff, was like, yep, I'll have it. Didn't even barter on the price. So the shell's going with the paperwork. I've got the chassis to kind of sell or split. Kind of don't want to split it or cut it up because like I spent weeks on it and it's a really good chassis. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, I've got to get it out of here. So that's all going. But word of wisdom to anyone that's buying a classic car, whether that be an American, European, kind of whatever car you're buying. Just don't buy something that's been restored. That is literally words of wisdom. Now, this is the worst car I've ever had in terms of someone doing a bad restoration. I've had ones before, but they've been nowhere near the scale of this one. So just buy something that's, if you're going to buy something that's cheap, buy something that's rotten. It's kind of what I do. I normally go for something that I can see what the problems are, so I can see that there's no flaw in it because it's all rusted away. Like, it just makes so much more sense because you can put patch panels in how you want to put patch panels in. You can do repairs as you want to do. It's a lot easier to do that than discover that someone's put in patch panels really badly beforehand and you can't even replace those patch panels because they've used the full size of the patch panel, which on its own is an idiotic thing to do. So kind of most of the hard work's done, in all honesty, but my mindset isn't there with it now. Every day I come in, it's just not fun to do. It's a massive chore. I wouldn't say it's like a mental health thing or anything like that. I know a lot of people do suffer. I'm just absolutely sick to the back teeth of my seeing it. I wanted one of these since I was a kid and it's been that bad, it's completely put me off one. I'll never own one. Literally, I will never own one again. Like, this is the first and last one. It can just go. So the guy's come in, nice chap. I believe he does a lot with Model A's. I think he's realised how cheap it was. Like, I sold him like a 900 quid Walker radiator for 500 quid with a grill and loads of other stuff. So he knows he's done me as a good deal. But to be honest, he's also helped me out kind of mentally because I haven't got to see this bloody thing again. So when he turns up, it's a case of we're going to lift the cab off. I'll video that just in case it goes wrong. And yeah, we'll get that gone and then we'll try and shift the chassis. But we'll also show you what I have bought that's going to be replacing this. And it is completely original. As far as I'm aware, it's got no bodge panels in, but I can kind of see everything to determine that. It does need some work, but it's going to be a lot cooler than this. It's going to be on air ride and stuff. And to be honest, as sad as I am to see it to go, I'm kind of happy at the same time. Magic is gone and it has been replaced with a Ford cab. So what's left of the Model A? We've got some wheels and there's another 2 in the house as well. So there's 6 wheels. We've got the rear axle, which is a Ford 9-inch axle. Apparently it's a brand new one, so I'm going to keep that. It is a lot narrower than it should be for what I'm doing. However, I'm going to get some big fat wheels on the back, so it should look pretty cool. Annoyingly, I've got to take all the axle brackets back off, but we'll get onto that in a later video. The rear frame itself, again, that's like chucked up online on eBay, trying to get rid of that through Facebook. I decided to pull out a brand new Mustang 2 front clip that I've got. Now this was hiding for a rainy day and I was debating on using it on this truck. However, I don't think I'm going to. What I think I'm going to do is jump onto CAD using a few of the Mustang measurements and I'm going to build a front clip all from scratch. Now the reason being is I've run the Mustang 2 before and the ball joints are a really piss poor quality when you run air ride on them. So this is obviously a top one, but if it was sat on the bottom, obviously the bottom's a bit bigger. These bits kind of don't angle correctly, so you kind of need to cut these tubes and twist them for air ride. And also, it's hard to get an airbag on there. So my last F100 that had the Cummins engine in it, that drove really nice. There was a couple of things I hated about it. I hated the gear change on the Cummins because you was just changing the gears all the time. It was an air clutch. And secondly, the other thing that I hated was the bouncy ride, because I was limited by the airbag size that I could run. Now, obviously, the bigger the airbag, the softer the ride's going to be, because you can run it at low pressure. Now, I needed to run, because the Cummins was so heavy, I needed to run it really high pressure to lift it, which meant that it was kind of like running on chop springs. If you know, you'd know. It was like running on choppy whoppers, as we call them. So my kind of plan with this is to fit big airbags. Now, I've got some 8-inch airbags, but they will not fit a normal Mustang 2 clip. So I'm going to get onto CAD. I'm going to redesign a front clip. I'm going to design it all on CAD. I'm going to show you how I do that. I'm learning as I go, so if you're watching, you're probably going to be doing the same. But yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do a load of brackets. So I am in kind of just doss around house, comfies as they call them. I'm going to go in the house, bring you inside with me. We're going to jump on the computer and we're going to start making some kind of bits for the frame. Well, we're in the office. But basically, I brought you up here just to kind of show you the CAD side of stuff. So I'm really excited with CAD because once you design it, it's a case of sending it off to someone else to do the work. They laser cut it. You have all these nice little bits of metal that come back, and everything just fits where it needs to fit, and you can wire stuff together so much easier. So all this junk that's behind me, it needs some form of CAD design. So I need to make mounts for my airbags. I need to make mounts for my air compressors. Obviously, it goes without saying, I need to run airbag mounts themselves for top and bottom arms, and obviously wherever it mounts on the axle. Now, airbag wise, I usually use an airbag which is slightly smaller than this. Now, I always use Slam Speciality bags. They're a really, really, really good airbag. They beat most of the airbags out the park, simply because they don't balloon, they go up exactly the same width, and they've got internal bump stops. So they're really good. They are pricey, but they're much better kind of than the Airlift Performance bags and kind of all your D2500s and all that sort of stuff. So normally use the smaller bags. However, I want it to ride a lot better, so I want more air in it, so it's a softer ride. So I'm going to be going for these big daddies. So these are 8-inch SS8 bags, which is Slam Speciality 8-inch. They can run 250 PSI, but I don't want to be running anywhere near that. I used to run 160 PSI on the Cummins because it was such small bags, and it drove nice, but it was kind of like you're on chop springs. So I kind of don't want that with this build. I want the biggest bags I can get to run the lowest PSI for the softest ride. So these are going to be put to one side, but that's what I'm going to be using. And then for the front arms themselves, I'm going to be using these bad boys. So these are lower ball joint and upper ball joint sleeves. Now I'm running both lower ball joints top and bottom because they're stronger. And I'm running the Moog, which are the K772 ball joint series. So that's these. So essentially, once you weld up your lower and top arms, these will screw in, and then that will go into your normal spindle or hub, if you want to call it that in the UK. So that's kind of the plan for the arms. Again, we're going to obviously need to do some CAD design on those arms, because although I'm going to be making some CDS tube for the main arm itself, I need to put a plate on top where obviously the airbag is going to sit on, and also there needs to be just a bit of adjustability in terms of movement on that. So that's how that goes. We're going to do some smaller brackets today. I've already pre-made some kind of CAD brackets for kind of my gear shifter. So obviously the CAD stuff isn't that hard to do at home. As long as you've got a computer, you can download CAD for free, but you only have a 15-day trial. So what I normally do is make sure I've kind of got everything together that I know I need to make, and then I just sit down for a couple of days, blitz on CAD as quick as possible, and get it off to the laser cutter. If you're watching how I do it, I may not be doing it correctly, but I do it and I get the end result. So let's just jump on there, give it a go. So we're going to draw this on here, but I'm going to make it a bit nicer. So the first line we know, I personally want it 100mm by 100mm, which if you're doing them yourself, that's a perfect size. So what we're going to do is left click on line, this will come up, and then drop it anywhere, and go for a nice green line is what you want, because that's a nice parallel line. And instead of clicking it again, don't click it, you literally write on your number pad 100, enter. That will give you a 100mm line in the direction that you want. As you can see, I'm still kind of connected on the end, so we want to go down 100 mil, which is this one here. So we put it till it goes green, which means it's a bang on 90. And again, we write 100, enter, and then we're at the next point. So at this point here, what we could do is connect it back up to this top bit, click the left mouse button, and we've basically got that triangle there. However, I want to make it slightly better than that. So what I'm going to do is at this bottom point here, I'm going to wait for it to go green again, and I'm going to put like a 5 mil kind of end on. So I'm going to write 5, enter, and then I'm going to hit, because I don't want this bit still connected, I'm going to hit escape, and then I'm going to add my 5 mil bit to the top. So again, I've got to click line, go to where this goes green, which snaps onto the end, go down till it's green again, as you can see, and then I'm going to write 5, enter, and that's giving me 5 mil there and 5 mil there. Now I'm going to join these two together for now, and I'll show you why. So I'm going to left click, and then I'm going to hit escape. So that is kind of a slightly fancier gusset than this, and you could obviously send this off to your laser cutter. However, I want to put a bit of an arch in it, so just because it looks better. So what I need to do is I'm going to divide this bit by 2, which will give me the center point. So without clicking anything, I'm going to press the D button on my keyboard, and the second option down is divide. So I'm going to use the mouse to click divide, and it'll say select object to divide, which is going to be this bit here. So I'm going to left click it, and then I'm going to enter the number 2. I'm going to press 2, and then I'm going to press enter. It's divided it, but you can't see that at this point. So what I'm going to do is then reselect this bar, and I'm going to press delete. And what you'll see in the middle there is a tiny little dot, and they call this a node. And what that means is I can click onto it, and that is the center point of the line that was originally there. So that's 67175, 67175. You'll see it's bang on in the middle. And obviously I can bring it up to this middle point here, and it's middle all the way up. So I want to drop this in, probably this curve, say about 20 mil inwards. So I'm going to point this in that top corner, hit 20 mil, enter, and then escape. And now I've got to go because the doorbell's gone. Bear with me.
2 seconds later.
So, sorry, it's postman. So we're back at the middle bit here, and I want to put a curve in. So I've obviously gone 20 mil up, and I want to now hit arc. So I'm going to hit arc, left click. I'm going to drop wait for this green bit to light up. I'm going to click on that. And then instead of going straight across here, what I'm going to do is click on the end of that, which is obviously measured 20 mil in. So you'll see it'll line up green. I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to do the same with the other end. That has given me a nice curve. And then what I need to then do is just click this line, press delete, and then make sure you delete the node as well, which is this thing here. So again, you can just click onto it and press delete. And that's basically it. I've got a nice kind of curved gusset. That's what she said. But obviously that looks a lot better than that. Now you can, if you want, drop a circle in. Again, circles, just basically click it, drop it anywhere you want, and then you just literally move the mouse in and out. So you could put kind of a circle in if you wanted to. I don't know whether I'm going to or not sure yet. I'll probably come back to that. But then all you've got to do is click on save as, and then just make sure that you save it as a DXF. So say if you want, I don't know, if you want 20 of them in 5 mil, that's how I've done the file name. So I've wrote in gusset 5 mil 20, and then just save. Make sure it's saved as a DXF. That's what the most important thing is. And then once you've done that, you can literally supply the DXF to kind of any kind of laser cutting company, and they'll be able to make you that exactly how it is. Make sure that your scale always in the bottom right corner, which is this point here, is 1:1, because obviously everything's worked out in millimeters on this program. If your scale is different, then you might get pieces that are really small. You always want it scaled 1:1. So it means 1 millimeter on here is 1 millimeter in real life. You can print stuff out to double check if you want to. It's just a case of printing it, making sure it's scaled 1:1 and your print is selected. So basically, if you want to print anything out, I'll show you how to do it, because it wasn't immediately obvious to me and it kept coming out wrong. So you've got your design there. You want to click on print, and it will come up like this. Now it'll come up printer plotter. You need to make sure that's the name of your printer that you've got. So my printer is the Brother one, so that's clicked. Then what I want to do is not fit to paper, so I need to unselect fit to paper, and where it says custom, I need to make sure the scale is 1:1. That will mean now that this design, how it comes out your printer, is going to be the exact size it's cut. So that needs to be 1:1, and then what to plot, I want to click that, and I want to do window, and it'll give me the option to go back to the screen of selecting the window. So I need to left click and hold the mouse, So I'm going to do that. I'm going to drag it over what I want to print, and I'm going to let go. Well, I'm going to click, sorry. And then instead of printing it straight away, I just want to preview it because sometimes it cuts it wrong. So that cuts it right. You can see on there, that's going to be fine. So then I'm going to go into the top corner, press print, and it's going to print out now. It says send to printer, but it's basically sending it to my printer. You'll hear it, and I'm going to get it out of the printer once it eventually starts printing. Come on, here we go. So it's printing out now. So as you can see, we've got 100mm, just double check your measurements bob on, which that is spot on 100mm. But it is good to, sometimes if it's a small bracket, you're not overly sure, or you've got holes in it, you need to make sure you've got them in the right place, because measuring with the vernier, you can still be slightly off on some like recessed holes and things. So instead of making the holes slightly bigger, you can print it out, and then you can drop whatever you're making kind of the bracket of on top of the piece of paper, and make sure it's correct before spending a load of money and then realising you've made the holes in the wrong place. It's always easier to use a small bit of paper, and you can chuck this through the printer a couple of times anyway. Just make sure you're orientating around. You normally get 4 designs per piece of paper, which is obviously a lot cheaper than a big 5mm bit of steel. So that's kind of what I do. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, drop a comment below and I'll try and answer it. Again, I'm not a whiz kid with CAD, but it's really quick. I use it quickly and it does what I need it to do. So basic stuff I could probably help with. And there's a massive list of bits I need to do, and I won't bore you, so don't worry. I just wanted to do kind of the end of the Model A series, just for those like handful of people that are watching it, just out of respect, rather than me just cutting the video series short. I want to give an explanation as to why I've stopped doing it, why it's gone, and it's basically just mental sanity on it. I just could not take the amount of bodges. I did think as well I'd add on what I'm doing with the next build, because there is a video series I'm going to do straight away. So when this ends next week, it's going to start the new one. And the reason I've kind of put the CAD on the end of this one is because I didn't want to start a new series of just how to use CAD as a program. But I have had people ask me how to use it, so I thought I would tie it in. So we're going to obviously be designing stuff for the next video. It's not going to be heavily CAD based, but we kind of then just want to get onto all the fun stuff like the fabrication and kind of all the design and everything. So I'm keen for the next videos. Hopefully you are too. Really appreciate those handful of people that do watch these videos. If you've jumped on this randomly, please like and subscribe. No worries if not. I'm not one of these fussy YouTubers because I'm not even a YouTuber. I'm just someone that's done this because when I get too old to be able to do it, I can look back and reminisce of the good old days. So peace out. Hopefully see you guys in the next video. Yeah, take care. See you soon. Cheers.